Oh, okay, we need to get some like fans or something.
Let's get some energy in here.
Come on. We can do it. Right, we can do it. Ready? Come on, we'll just build it up. It'll be fine. It's going to be okay. Okay.
Interesting things said by uninteresting people. Show hosted by Ben and Tom. Interesting things said by uninteresting people.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Interesting Things Said by Uninteresting People, where we talk about interesting things so that you don't have to. My name's Ben, and as always, I'm joined by the far more cool cat half of the podcast, Tom.
I wish it was true, but I'm so hot today.
It's so hot.
It's ridiculous.
It's so warm. Dude, you're looking like you're dealing with it quite well, though.
Yeah, I guess it's the bad webcam quality of the MacBook and that sort of thing. No, for people that don't know, that we're like in the middle of the English heat wave. What did it hit today? 28 degrees?
I was going to make some kind of joke of like 17, 18 then, but no, it is hot, man. It's like 20. Yeah, it must be around 30.
Mate, you've got to understand as well, if you're in England, that's, this is crazy. It doesn't go this high.
They're probably laughing at us like, oh yeah, sure, call us when the real summer hits.
Yeah, definitely.
But man, if you're not used to it, bumping straight up to it, it's not fun, man. It's not fun.
Mate, I saw the best tweet about it, and it's from Very British Problems, and it said 20 degrees by 8 a.m. Oh dear.
Oh, dude, it's just not good, man. I mean, for work, I'm still PPE'd up, so it's like this little Baker foil of wrap every time you go. And I swear to God, I've been in old people's houses recently who have got the heating on. They have the radiators on. You go, oh yeah, it's a bit of a chill in the air. There's a bit of a draft. I thought I'd just warm it up a bit.
Oh my God!
I'm considering smearing myself with garlic butter, literally just to have like a nice cooking, like a culinary aroma, instead of just feeling like a bit of a sweating ham when you walk into someone's house.
Mate, you know what that way around that is? Like under the PPE, totally naked.
Well, now, funny you should mention that. Dude, well, we've tried a few different things, man. I think that what we've landed on as being the most effective solution all around is just sweatbands. Literally just putting on like John McEnroe style, like head sweatbands. I mean, we tried, my business partner, my colleague, he brought in some of those migraine strips.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that they advertise you can stick to your forehead.
Yeah.
So we strapped around our wrist to kind of cover them up, with a wristband.
Sure.
Because the thing is, we can't walk into someone's house with a great big migraine strip across your forehead. So we thought, we'll try it on the wrists, give it, at least try something. Man, all it did was feel tingly and uncomfortable.
Oh God.
So we went in there, cock of the walk, thinking, oh great, we've defeated the heat. We're going to feel absolutely fantastic now. And I swear to God, man, it felt just worse, because then we were hot and itchy under the sweatbands.
Oh.
But what are you going to do?
Literally, what are you going to do? Mate, it's I don't want to hammer on about it because that's all we talk about as British people, but bloody hell, it's stupid. I'm on a shoot tomorrow until like 1 o'clock. So I'm going to be it's outside as well, obviously. So it's going to be horrendous.
Oh, dude, I don't envy that, mate. So with where we're recording it, we're currently recording on the 18th of July, which means that tomorrow is Freedom Day, mate.
Oh, it is, yeah.
In the UK. Well, no, not in the UK, sorry. In England.
In England,
it's fantastic news, mate. Fantastic news. It's gone away. COVID's gone. We've defeated it.
Bags. Yeah, it's just decided that, you know what? We had a good run.
We've seen it off.
Yeah. And now it's gone. Mate, the thing that I like most about that is all the top scientists or whatever, like advising number 10 are like, it's too early. You will get a third lockdown if they carry on like that. So the problem is I see both sides of the argument now. It's like, we've got to come out of it somehow, some way of living with it. But also, like, if we're just going to go into lockdown 3, what's the point?
Yeah, well, exactly, man. Like, I really don't want to run the risk of sounding like a negative Nelly, because, like you say, there will come a point where we do just have to get back to real life, and you can stop, and you have to stop worrying about it and go, okay, that's the thing that is now past.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like it's there yet.
No,
It really doesn't, man. I mean, like they talk about the number of cases. What is it, 50,000? Like we're hitting new
highs,
like doing daily highs. Yeah. And dude, it's the fact that the government. I know that if when you dive down deep enough into it, the government's official line is, yep, everyone should still really be wearing a mask, but they won't, or they haven't yet. I mean, I'd love to be proved wrong. They haven't yet sort of put adverts out. You know how you have the adverts telling you, hands, face, space, and all that kind of stuff. It's like they're not pushing that message hard enough of, okay, it's not illegal now to go without a mask,
but you still should.
You really should.
Yeah.
And then it's down to businesses, it's down to Tesco and to supermarkets and to the Mayor of London, for the Transport for London, saying, okay, you're still going to have to wear a mask.
Yeah. Mate, it's just a bit... That's the problem, isn't it? There's no hard line from the government to say you should still wear them. It's going to be made illegal if you don't wear it in a confined space. You've got to wear it.
Yeah. And dude, can you imagine trying to enforce that? Trying to be like a doorman for Tesco or for whoever.
Yeah, it'd be a shit job.
Ugh, dude, I'm really... I don't know. I almost feel more negative about it because of the way it's been handled rather than the situation itself.
Yeah. I don't think any country has dealt with it perfectly. There's like some ones that have done it better than others, but yeah, I don't even know how you'd measure or quantify it other than deaths and infection rates.
Yeah.
Because the infection rate can be high, that's fine, as long as the deaths are low, which they are really low at the moment. They're super low.
That's true. That's true.
I know more people are going to hospital because of the infection rate, but also it's the same story, isn't it? People over a certain age, people with underlying health conditions. Most people under 45 will probably be fine, that sort of thing, or whatever. But then it's back to the other question of mutations, isn't it? Because then it's back to like people are, those 12,000 experts, and although we have as a country had enough of experts, obviously. Yeah, clearly.
The 12,000 scientists who wrote the letter and who signed the letter saying this is a bad idea, not just for the UK, but globally. Yeah. If you allow one country to just let coronavirus breed and mutate and grow and change,
everybody else. Yeah.
It's not good for anyone. Yeah. But man, like I said, I'm not a stick in the mud saying, oh, we just need to live like this forever, because that can get fucked. That's not the answer either. But I don't know, man. It does just feel very, very soon.
It's horrible, isn't it? Because if there's some sort of guarantee, they just said, look, one more year of lockdown, and then that's it. It is done and dusted. I think most people would be like, fine, let's do it. Yeah. But because there is no guarantee, even if we were in the same lockdown as we were first time round, it would still be kicking about. So, yeah. There's almost no right or wrong answer there. Just different sides.
No. I feel like I would want a magic answer, like a magic universe just tells you the answer to something you're never going to know. Yeah. Like what if, when this all started, if we'd have just said, okay, we're just going to wear masks. Yeah. And maybe test everyone once a week. Yeah, yeah. And that's it. But that's all we're going to do. Yeah. That literally we're not going to wear it. And just to wonder if that would have been better. Like say to people, okay, the bar is much lower. You don't really have to stop doing a lot. So you might feel less aggravated by it, but you are going to wear a mask. Yeah. All the time. You just whatever you're doing, you're going to have a mask on, to go down the shops or what have you. Yeah. I just wonder if that would have been better or worse or...
Definitely, especially with the app and people just not even using it, not downloading it, pretending to scan the QR codes, things like that.
Yeah, dude, it's messed up. Yeah. Or like going to the football. Oh, I don't know if you've seen this, but the infection rates from the people who went to the football.
I haven't seen it.
Almost everyone do. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but dude, most of them, a lot of people are coming back from the football testing positive. Yeah. So great, cool, excellent, cool, brilliant.
Yeah. God's sake.
Dude, this is not on our list of stuff to talk about. But did you only because we were talking about COVID and what have you? Yeah. Did you watch Together? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. I thought you were going to ask me if I've watched the football. I genuinely thought that was going to be where we were going with that.
Don't worry, Tom. I know the answer to that. Don't worry. No, dude. It's worth checking out. This is just a quick slipped in, quick rec towards the start of the episode.
Let's do it.
But yeah, man. Together. It's on BBC iPlayer. It's about 90 minutes long. It's James McAvoy and Sharon Horgan and a little boy who plays their son, but he's not really in it too much. Sure. And it's almost like a theatre monologue.
Oh, okay, weird.
Almost. Well, it was the two of them talking to each other about they're almost in a very dysfunctional long-term relationship, and they're talking about how much they dislike each other at the start, and then it's kind of set at the start of everything.
Sure.
And then it time jumps through, it skips through different points up to pretty much present day.
Okay.
And it's been criticised for being overly political, and there are bits of it which are very openly critical of the way that it's been handled.
Sure.
But it's also just a good bit of theatre, really. It's just, just good. It's like, all it is the two of them talking,
Sure.
to each other, and then to the camera, directly to the audience, But yeah, man, together, it's worth. You've got 90 minutes to spare. It's worth having a
tinkle,
a bit of a watch.
Very nice.
Oh man, but otherwise, we've got some. Otherwise,
here's today's topic.
Oh man, dude, we said this before we started recording. The energy in these rooms is very low.
Super
I don't
low.
know what. It's just the heat is melting everything.
It is.
See, I know because we had to put. We should probably address the fact that we haven't recorded in a couple of weeks longer than we would do normally.
Yeah.
But I could not talk properly for the last for about a week or so.
Yeah.
Because I had that bloody cyst removed from my lip.
Oh, tell us about the cyst.
Yeah, which I don't know. I'll tell you a little bit about it. It was an amazing experience. It really was. It wasn't serious. I mean, I'm not dying. It wasn't anything nasty that you would find,
Yeah.
But yeah, I had this little lump on my top lip, which was just annoying. It was aggravating.
Sure.
Yeah, dude. And I don't know whether I managed to get bumped up an NHS queue somewhere or something, but I managed to get it off pretty quickly for the fact that it's not dangerous,
Yeah, sure.
I haven't had an operation in a while, and man, it was almost sadistically fun, to be honest. It was I mean, you've seen like Dr. Pimple Popper, that sort of stuff, where it's like getting the big. They didn't. So the surgeon said to me, I don't believe in lucky or unlucky surgeons. He goes, there's good surgeons. He goes, and good surgeons will get this out in one piece, without it breaking, and going everywhere. So I'm sorry if anyone's listening to this while they're eating their lunch, but it wasn't too gross. So I was almost hoping it would be like a burst it and,
here it comes.
Get the full effect kind of thing. But no, he pulled it out like an absolute champion. And so, but it was like a big pea. I would say it was about the size of a big pea.
Weird.
Like a big pink pea. But because of the way they cut it out like a cut a circle out of skin, and then just went down, went into the skin and got it and pulled it out, cut it, snipped it away and pulled it out. So it had like, when he showed me the cyst afterwards, it had like a bit of skin still on it, with moustache hairs on it. So it looked like this thing it was wearing a wig, so it had like a little haircut. Oh man!
Did you have to shave? Did you go in clean shaven?
No, dude. He snipped a few moustache hairs. He kind of snipped it away with his little scissors.
No way.
But no, man, I didn't have to shave.
I thought they'd be great. Like, well, you have a clean shave because it would just be easier.
No, he was ready. He was game for it. He was like, "Oh, I might have to snip it a little bit, but don't worry, I can deal with this. Don't worry, I'm a pro."
Nice, man. That's cool.
But yeah, it was. No, dude, it was it was actually a really fun experience.
How long did it take?
Oh, the procedure took like 20 minutes.
That's not massively long.
Yeah, it was very, very quick. Bit of injection to keep things numb. Yeah, and then just.
Where'd they inject you? In the lip, like right on
inside my lip, which was probably the most unpleasant bit of the whole process.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like when you have like a tooth out or something, and they jab you like 3 or 4 times in the gums. Yeah, it's like, do you know what? This is probably the most painful part of the whole thing. Oh, dude,
don't. I told him a story about when I went to the dentist when I was little, actually, to pass the time while we went to the anesthetic to work. Because this was terrifying. I wonder if this has stayed with me. When I was little, I had about 5 or so teeth out at the same time, like in one go. Because it was something to do with growing, like I had too many teeth or whatever, or like dog's teeth or shark's teeth or whatever it was. And so I had to have 5 all at the same time. So they put me out. So they knocked me out to remove these teeth. And so they gave me the gas and air. Put the gas on my nose. I was like, and I remember I was maybe about 8 years old, but I remember thinking to myself, "Come on, Ben, just relax." And I was saying, I wasn't too nervous, but I was like, "Come on, don't worry, just keep breathing. It'll be, and then it'll be done." I remember really clearly thinking this. So I closed my eyes, thinking, "Okay, I'll just close my eyes and let the gas work." I'm not going to fight. I'm going to be compliant. I closed my eyes, and about 5 seconds later, I heard them going, "Okay, he's out. Let's get started."
Oh, no.
So I fired my eyes back over and go, no, I'm not out. I'm not out yet.
No, he's still here.
For a split second, I was worried they were going to start pulling, just yanking teeth out while I was still awake.
Pass me the drill, please. Let's get started. Yeah. Oh man, that's horrible. Oh, he's not out yet.
I've had better experiences of anaesthetic for mouth procedures. But no, dude, he said to me, he was quite open about it. He's like, dude, you're going to have a very sore lip for a few days.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I can deal with it. And it was, to be fair, I had some ointment and stuff on it, but it was all stitched up and what have you. But, gosh, you don't realise how much you move and stretch your top lip until you can't.
Oh, man, I can imagine. Yeah. I can imagine.
And it was that horrible kind of like creeping up on you pain. Like this is when because I saw you in IRL, in real life. Yeah.
You did.
And I said, I can talk, but I couldn't talk for a long time. I'd talk for 20 minutes and my lip would just suddenly be like, oh God, that's really painful.
Oh. But it's all okay now.
Good. It's fine now, mate. Yeah, tip of the top. I've got to go in for a checkup, but yeah, I've got to start like grabbing it and kind of squeezing it. He said to like break up the connective tissue inside to make sure to just eliminate it building like a hard kind of bit of tissue.
How weird.
Yeah, man. But hey, it's what can I say? It's kept me going.
Yeah,
it's given me something interesting to do in my life. Man,
I think when you touched on having operations as a kid, having operations as a kid is so much easier than when you're an adult. Because when you're a kid, you don't really understand, like, we're going to put you under now. And you've had operations in the past, haven't you? Like, pretty full-on ones. And how old are you when you had your... Was it the lung?
My chest operation? Yeah, dude. I was year 10.
Yeah, so man, you're old enough to like...
Yeah.
I mean, 15's still pretty young, but still old enough to really understand what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But like, I think I had my tonsils out when I was like 6, and like I couldn't remember it if you told me to. Vaguely remember the hospital room and stuff. But I think I told you this when I saw you not too long ago. I had my nose operated on like 3 years ago or something. I was hyper aware, mid-20s. Like I know exactly what. Here's your bed, and like this is probably where you'll be for the whole night. Like, I hate this already.
Oh no, dude.
Yeah,
your imagination improves when you get older as well. It's like, well, I'm thinking of all the things that could happen.
Yeah, it's
how
horrible.
much this is gonna suck.
Yeah, you just like I said, when they put the stuff in your arm to make you go to sleep, you just feel it go up.
Yeah.
I almost remember that sensation of it kind of hitting my brain, and then that's it, lights out, sort of thing, like. And then a second later, you wake up, some guy saying, "Are you okay?" It's like, this is like a film or something.
This is the worst hangover I've ever had.
Yeah. So I feel like shit.
I found out something quite recently. I don't know whether this is still accurate knowledge, so forgive me if it isn't. And this isn't medical advice, but apparently we don't really know how local anaesthetics work.
That's horrifying news.
Like if you break it down, like we know they work, and we know what compounds work, and we know how much to give people, we know how to do it, as safely as possible and all the rest of it. But if you break it down chemically, we're not really sure. I don't think so anyway. I'm prepared to be proved wrong on this. I'd like to be proved wrong because it's not a very competent thought.
Wrong. Yeah, I don't like that.
It does start to make you think, we'll just inject this into your arm, see what this does. Yeah. Oh, is he out or is he dead?
Yeah. Mate, it's milky as well. It looks like milk that goes into...
I know, it's so unpleasant, man. Of all the things that you want shooting into your veins, it's like, God.
It's just some milk. Like, that's somehow worse.
I wonder what that stuff's like when it's outside of the syringe. I mean, is it thick? Is it
like a goop?
Maybe I don't want to know.
No.
Maybe I really don't want to know, but it's... Hopefully no more operations on the cards for a while.
Ever, if possible.
See, because that's the other thing as well about growing up, right? Now that you've said it, I know, mate, we're spending so long on this, but it's not really the most interesting thing in the world. But, I don't remember any anxiety about me having like a general anaesthetic when I was a kid.
Sure.
Maybe my parents hid it from me, but I don't remember me being anxious. I don't remember the doctors being particularly anxious. I don't remember my mum and dad didn't act anxious. Either they were very good at kind of keeping it, under wraps. Yeah. But I don't remember it being tense. But now, it's not that many years before I'm going to be 40, right? Yeah. And it feels like once you pass 40, if you're having a general anaesthetic, you have your loved ones there waiting for you to wake up. Like, oh God, I hope he's going to be okay. Do you know what I mean? I wonder if is that a thing? Like, the older you get, the more people are worried that you're just not going to wake up from a general anaesthetic.
I guess as you get older, it just gets more risky.
I must do.
Like, just in general terms, not because you're weaker or anything, but just like, your body, your insides aren't quite as strong as they used to be.
Yeah, I
so
suppose.
This is going to be more taxing on you than it ever has been in your life.
Oh God. And this is the easiest it's ever going to be again.
Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
No. Cool. Great.
Yeah.
I'll get down with that.
Mate,
oh man.
Anyway, hospitals aside,
yeah, it's been quite a good couple of weeks, really.
Good.
Dude, I know we have talked about Loki when it first came out, but it finished, didn't it? We've had the last episode of Loki on the old Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I think it's worth a mention just for how it's all wrapped up.
Maybe issued the spoiler warning straight up.
Yeah. Oh, we're flat out gonna. And this is to say, I mean, I'm just dilly dallying now to give people a chance to grab the controls and stop it if they don't really want to know how this ends.
Yeah.
But there isn't really a lot you could talk about this episode that isn't spoilery.
Yeah, it's spoilerific, the whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very exposition heavy episode, I would say.
It is. Yeah,
it's not like the big flying around in the sky ending that WandaVision had.
No, not at all. Where
or
things
big
all
fight scenes.
up. Yeah. No, not at all.
It's a lot of talking, man. It's a lot of talking.
Yeah. What did you think of it? What did you think of it as a whole?
I thought that it was okay. I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
As the ending of something that's going to get a series 2.
Yeah.
If you take it as its own self-contained thing. I think it wasn't so good an ending for someone who isn't interested in like the Marvel universe, like the other films and the other. I think it wasn't so good as someone who's literally just watching this just to watch one series and then expect to have some reconciliation at the end.
No, it isn't. It's not. It's a deep cut, isn't it? Let's put it that way. You've got to at least have a pretty base understanding of at least the Avengers films to get
absolutely
where it came from, where it was going.
But in terms of it setting up what's going to happen next, like in the Marvel universe, in terms of the other films, in terms of other TV, man, I think it's important. It's man.
I'd say there's a lot of importance riding on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's what I mean because so now that we've kind of chatted away enough. I mean, obviously at the end of the episode, spoilers from now, the multiverse is created.
Born, yeah.
It stops being one timeline and starts being infinite timelines.
Yeah, infinite,
Which, I mean, that's the next step that they need as well.
Yeah.
For the same reason that the multiverse was created in DC and Marvel in the comics.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you've had characters that have been around for 50 years but have never aged.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to start again, or maybe what if we had a fresh Spider-Man,
Yeah, definitely.
And then you come to, well, let's just say it's an alternate universe.
Yeah, easy. In a comic, it's easy, innit? It's like, this is almost a what if.
Yeah, exactly. Well, dude, the What If series is not that far away.
Yeah.
I think that's probably going to be... I think that's going to be based around this. I thought it was almost going to be like a side thing that wasn't really important to anything.
Yeah, no, I think it will. It would just be like the odd timeline they want to jump into, like, this one's weird. Come have a look.
But it's quite good, though, because, I mean, it opens up so much stuff that they can do now. I mean, if the X-Men are going to come back... Well, they are coming back to the MCU.
Yeah.
Then that's how they could do it with new actors, and you go, oh well, it's a different version of that character now.
Yeah. But in what I will say about Loki is I really, really enjoyed the setup of it, where they picked Loki up from, he teleports with the Tesseract, and then they TVA pick him up, and he's very like, what on earth is going on, sort of thing. Those first few episodes were so like, he's a classic case of being brought into something you don't understand what's going on. Like, where he's suddenly got no power over anything. It was a cool setup. I'd say I generally really enjoyed it. I think at the end, thank God there's a season 2, because my God, it leaves a lot open. Yeah. I would say I was almost unsatisfied with the end, but I was satisfied there was a series 2, because I was like, this kind of explains some things, but not a lot.
See, dude, now that we're talking about it, right? I really enjoyed the series, but just talking it through, I wonder if that is a failing of the series, is that it was a means to an end.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
It was basically set up. I mean, this whole series, the aim of this whole series was to establish the multiverse.
Yeah.
And go, that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
When it's almost like it sold Loki a little bit short himself, as a character, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was also seems like a way to get him back, because he obviously is dead from Endgame.
Yeah, sure.
But it's a way to get him back. But I know what you mean. There wasn't many moments in it that made me go, yeah, that's what Loki would do. Now, I kept expecting, and there's one point in the show where I really thought this was going to happen. I was almost shocked it doesn't, is when Sylvie pushes him back through a TemPad.
Yeah.
Just before she kills Kang or whatever. And he's just sitting there looking at the floor. And I was like, the camera slowly pans in on him. And I was like, he's going to smile. There's going to be some sort of wick that the wool has been pulled over our eyes this entire time. I thought he's going to look up, smile, and the horns would appear. And I thought that was going to be the end of the series. I was certain of it. I was
dude, that would have been cool, man. Yeah.
I kept thinking, I was like, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. And it didn't come. It seems like he has generally turned to good.
Yeah, sure.
Which is quite
cool. Or
cool.
at least is more aware of who he is, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's a really good point. It'll be interesting to see if they can pull him back from that.
Yeah.
To keep him as an interesting character. Because otherwise, who is he?
Yeah. I did love his designation as a variant, when he had variant written on his back. I loved that, because he was just being put in his place all the time when he's constantly making up his own mind, and then suddenly he's like, no, you're a piece of shit variant.
Yeah.
We'll erase
you're meaningless.
Yeah.
You're absolutely meaningless.
So those bits were good.
What did you think of the second to last episode with all the different Lokis?
Yeah, it was weird. It was really odd.
Yeah, that was very cool, man. A lot
cool,
of, I mean, Easter egg deep as well. I mean, that was full of interesting stuff.
In a way, I'm glad they've gone back to this Loki. They've basically taken the Loki out of Endgame, haven't they? That's good. They brought him back to there. And I'm kind of glad in a way, because all those other Lokis showed that his arc as a villain is done. You can't keep doing that over and over and over. It's too boring.
And it only ever ends the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Although Alligator Loki could come back and I wouldn't be angry.
I did like how they made, and they've obviously got this out of Norm Smith, that Loki is a character to make other characters do their absolute best, whether they like it or not. He's just a chaotic force of change that makes, for better or for worse, but brings out the best in people.
Yeah, that's really interesting, actually. Yeah, you're right.
Thing. I quite like that. And I thought Sylvie, or female Loki, for ages I thought the reveal was going to be, I'm not a Loki. I kept thinking it's I'm not a Loki, I'm not a Loki.
Yeah,
I thought that was going to come at some point. Maybe it still will. But
there are other similar characters to her. Is it the
Enchantress?
Enchantress, yeah. It could. I mean, maybe they're just kind of going, yeah, that's who she is, but she's serving the same purpose as that character. I mean, so she kind of is, but in this she isn't.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something like that. Dude, I'm looking forward to Kang becoming the big bad.
Definitely. His story, he kind of tells where he came from, is quite interesting.
Yeah.
There's multiple variants or millions of variants of him, and not all of them are good.
Yeah, it's some of them are really bad.
Yeah, really bad. And he's like, not all of them are nice like me. Some of them are horrid and you'll probably meet them, sort of thing.
But dude, it was good that it was another interesting, a genuine pull between the two options. It wasn't just I'm a screaming lunatic and I need to be taken out. It was, either, you have two options that seem legitimate. Either you let me keep running things and you've got no free will and I'm in control of everything.
Yeah.
Or you get rid of me and it'll be chaos and you'll have a fight on your hands.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's nice that it wasn't just a black and white decision at the end.
Yeah, I also felt like, it's an impossible decision at the end, because either one is bad. There's no, reigning option there. It's do you carry on, like you said, letting it be what it is, and their fate is very much, you're kind of screwed anyway? Or do you fight for yourself and just see what happens in another one, which you could lose everything or gain everything?
Yeah.
There's no right choice.
Dude, what did you think of Owen Wilson?
Loved him. I thought he was fantastic. Pitch perfect casting.
One of the best bits?
Yeah, he was just perfect. Like, no point did I think that's Owen Wilson. I just thought that's Mobius.
Sure. Yeah.
He was great, and I hope he sticks around.
I hope he gets his jet ski at some point.
Mate,
Come on.
I feel like he could be folded into the MCU quite easily.
Oh man, yeah.
I've never really if you asked me to name my favourite actors, I wouldn't ever bring up Owen Wilson. But he was absolutely perfect for it.
Yeah. I was almost gutted at the end when he's obviously in a different timeline. Well, Loki comes back to something different, like different universe or different whatever.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like they've reset that friendship.
Yeah.
And I always hate that happening in TV shows or whatever. I really don't like, because it's like, oh man, come on. All that character development is just out the window now.
Yeah, he's gone. And there's an infinite number of other ones. Yeah, man. It's he was great. But yeah, I agree with you. Where Loki ended up, I was like, what now, sort of thing. Like, where do you go from here?
Sure. Well, it's going to be, okay, not to get too deep into the meta kind of arrangement of what's happening with Marvel films and things. I'm going to be interested to see where... Because, okay, so Loki Series 2 is unlikely, I would say, to follow straight on from the Series 1.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I mean, because Loki's slated to appear in the new Doctor Strange film as well.
Right.
Which kind of makes sense because, the multiverse is created, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I mean, dude, the new Spider-Man film, Sony keep denying it and Marvel keep denying it, but it's like heavily rumoured.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a Spider-Verse kind of thing. Because Tobey Maguire is heavily rumoured to be in it. Andrew Garfield has denied it, but again, the rumours are around.
Yeah, man.
But it's going to be like, it's going to be cool though, man.
I hope it does. But yeah, man, I wonder if it is like, okay, so... the multiverse set up, there's Spider-Man, we have Doctor Strange, and then Loki Series 2 to whatever's going to happen with that multiverse happens.
It's going to be strange though, because what else have we got coming up? We've got Quantumania, got the new Ant-Man film coming out. That's going to be to do with alternate universes as well. So I just feel like now that the lid is off the can, there's a lot of alternate universe storytelling to be done.
Definitely.
For it to then close right back down on Loki again for Loki Series 2. Yeah. So I don't know. Be interesting to see.
Like you said, it's probably a good way for them to go because as far as superhero team-ups and like getting to know the characters we love and all that sort of stuff, they've kind of... they've had their finish point. Endgame has happened. A lot of people have been killed off or they're not there anymore. So where do you go after you told a story like that? It's like a good one to compare. This is a weird comparison, but like the Super Mario Galaxy is probably the best Mario game. So where does Mario go after he's been in space? Like where do you go after that? Because it's been done.
Or Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, Super Mario Odyssey was fantastic, but like, it must be the same for Avengers. Like, how do you follow something like Endgame? Yeah. And these little series and stuff, I guess, is the way of doing it. Not trying to live up to that, not going bigger, but going smaller.
Yeah, sure.
More intricate little tales.
I almost feel like the little TV series are a better way of telling these stories.
Definitely. Mate, it's like giving a film 6 hours to breathe.
Yeah.
As opposed to none, or 2 hours trying to tell. You can't develop a character like you can on a TV series like you can in a film.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So that'd be interesting. But yeah, man, talking of Marvel, we've both seen Black Widow.
We have, man, dude. That was another. I mean, we're going to overload the listeners with Marvel news, on this episode. But whatever, it's our podcast. Don't really care. Going to do it anyway. I mean, no, I don't mean that. Please stick around. Please keep listening. Please listen to us talk about Black Widow. It was. Well, what did you think?
Yeah, I liked it. There's a few things I didn't like about it, but I thought overall it's a pretty solid Marvel flick, and I enjoyed it. Okay,
yeah, dude, I enjoyed it as well. I thought it was solid not only as a Marvel film, but as an action film.
Yeah, it was just as a general. Film.
Yeah, I liked.
Funnily enough, my only complaint is that some, and this is something I'd never normally complain about. Some of the action sections seemed to go on and on and on and on, and it was like, holy crap! Like, when is she going to get a break? Because she's been fighting like for what felt like 10 minutes, which is obviously a long time for explosions and stuff.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I really liked it. I liked that she watched James Bond in it, and there was so many references to that.
Cool.
You know, they kind of thought, rather than try and hide with trying to make a sort of James Bondy sort of film, let's just stick James Bond in it.
Oh yeah, dude, just hanging that lampshade on that very firmly.
Yeah, quite like that.
No, dude, I like, because I was watching it with Claire, and she said at one point, she said, "Look, is this just one long action sequence?"
Yeah,
you know, this film is very action packed. You know, but she enjoyed it as well. You know, it was not, because, you know, Claire's into good films, but she's not necessarily a Marvel fan, or, you know, she's not keeping up with all the other ins and outs.
I really enjoyed the
it.
Crimson, the Red Defender.
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian, yeah.
Red Guardian, yes.
He was great.
David Harbour was having a whale of a time in that role. He must have been.
Again, a perfect choice.
Yeah.
Perfect choice. It was, I almost thought it was a shame he didn't, you know, not really spoilers. It's a shame he didn't get to, he was played off as comic relief a lot, and that's kind of all he amounted to in the end. He never got his moment to be a bit because he's a super soldier like Captain America. You know, he's basically Captain Soviet Union. Yeah. But he doesn't get his day to really shine. He takes a beating, and that's kind of it. Yeah,
even his fight with Taskmaster.
Yeah,
I think that was his final kind of send off, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, he didn't really have much of a part in that big escape at the end,
not
anything like that. Yeah, that was a shame.
I thought he was going to, you know, finally defend his girls from Taskmaster in a effective way. I kind of thought that would be the family payoff moment.
Yeah,
no one touches my girls, or, you know, something cheesy like that.
I would have been okay with that, mate.
Yeah, me too. I would have been fine with it.
But you know what? I guess this is going to sound really like really agenda filled here, okay? But this actually ties into something else I was going to say about it. I thought it was really good for that it was a almost completely female driven film.
Yeah.
That didn't play on that.
No,
and wasn't.
No, I agree.
You know, he wasn't that kind of, so I wonder, now that we've said it out loud, I wonder whether him stepping in to save them at the end, might have not come off so well. Maybe.
Yeah.
But you know, for his, in terms of his character, it would have been nice if he'd have had a payoff.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like to finish off his part in the film, I suppose.
I did feel there was one. Not Marvel doesn't, like, in terms of emotional scenes. You know, it's got a few here and there. But I've felt quite sorry for her sister when they're talking about the family, and it was only for 2 years, and she's like, "Oh, it was real for me," and you can tell that she's really upset about that. That was a little beat. I thought that was quite paid off quite nicely.
Yeah,
because it's almost a bit sad that she never had that sort of thing. You know, it's not a huge moment, but it's like, no, fair enough. You know, you probably would think that there'll be days when you forget, and they are just mum and dad or whatever.
And the fact that it still affects her as well.
Yeah,
you know, like she's this cold-hearted killer, this assassin. Yeah, but still, you know, she's still affected by it and still upset by the idea that it wasn't real.
Definitely, I'm like, she was a bit of a standout star in it. Anyway, she's great.
Florence Pugh.
Yeah, she was awesome. Yeah, but I also what made me laugh about it. Obviously, you can't roll this sort of thing in unless you have a wider plan. But like, that's a fair amount of shit to go down after Civil War. Because it's just set after Civil War. Avengers split up.
Yeah.
For it not to really like being brought up in later films or whatever.
Dude.
You know, I would say it's almost not a world-ending event, but it's a pretty big deal. It's like a.
Well, I was listening to a review of this a couple of days ago, and they made a really good point. They were saying it's almost a shame that this film didn't come out sooner.
Yeah. I agree.
This film didn't come out because like you say, it just feels a bit inconsequential.
Yeah, massively.
So we should say, I mean, this is the part of Black Widow's story where she's on the run.
Yeah,
you know, basically, effectively, she after Civil War and the Sokovia Accords and all the rest of it, she's on the run from everyone
before she's met up with Steve and Captain America again. So it's kind of, I would imagine it's set. I don't know if it says like a 2 week, you know, within that year of Civil War happening, where Captain America is now an outlaw. Yeah, all that stuff.
So it would have made sense to come out there, but I mean, we're talking about a character who they didn't make action figures of her because they figured a female superhero wouldn't sell action figures.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous. So it was the fans fighting and fighting to even get a solo movie for her.
Yeah. Man,
Which just seems crazy.
I've heard it's done quite well, which is great. Fantastic news. Like Disney Plus has sold an insane amount of £30 one-off tickets, whatever.
Sure.
And the cinema, being back open and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. I hope it, turns out to be a crazy successful one. And it's almost sad that obviously, unless they go back in time, there's not much they can really do with it now.
Well, alternate universe.
Well, there you go.
It's easy now, isn't it? It's just if I will just pluck her from another universe, it's fine. She's okay.
But yeah, dude, I thought the end, obviously without spoiling it, the major plot thing at the end, but when her sister gets recruited by the same person that recruits evil Captain America.
Yes.
I thought that was fantastic. I was like, oh my God, there's the team. It's being built slowly but surely, yeah.
We're getting some Dark Avengers.
Yeah, man, I'm mad up for that.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
Yeah.
Well, dude, because there's rumours about the Spider-Man film that we're going to find, because Sony want to work Venom into the Spider-Man films. They want to bring Venom into the bigger picture, and Venom would be the Dark Avengers Spider-Man.
Yeah, of course he would.
For sure. Yeah.
Be interesting to see how it all links up. But But man, I thought,
we always say, we're going to be watching these films until the day we die.
Yeah, and I'm happy with that. But no, mate, I generally enjoyed it. I thought my only thought actually was I thought Taskmaster was pretty compelling villain. Like, how do you fight a mirror sort of thing? Like, you can't.
Sure.
Mate, because when they say at some point, like, you can't fight a mirror or something. And that's what I thought David Harbour was going to say. I thought the Red Guardian was going to be like, unless you smash the mirror. Like, I thought he was going to say something like that and really come down hard on it or something.
Sure.
But I thought Taskmaster as a villain was actually quite scary.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Initially, I thought it looked a bit silly because it's like a motorcycle.
It's a bit kind of look. Yeah, I get that.
A bit Call of Duty, like soldier look. But when it analyzes and then starts fighting as someone else, it's just like, oh, that's actually quite cool.
Yeah. I almost wish there could have. I mean, obviously she's still around, and who knows what she's going to want to do, in future films. But it's almost like she got played a bit cheap. Like, they're like, I don't know, man. That role didn't. It wasn't as scary. It wasn't as fleshed out as it could have been. Maybe I felt like, because you're right. It's a good idea, man. Yeah, see, the character's a solid character.
Yeah, definitely. It reminded me of when the Winter Soldier is the Winter Soldier in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. He's quite scary. He's got the face mask. He's quite like, you don't really know who he is, and he catches Steve's shield and he throws it back. It's like, well, who's this guy? He seems pretty creepy and like powerful and scary.
This is a threat. Yeah.
And then it, just obviously doesn't turn into that in the end. I felt a similar sort of vibe from Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Quite scary.
And it was that kind of, it's how do you defeat her? Well, you just kind of let off a load of red gas.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't want to fight anymore, and it's fine, and it's all okay. We could just be friends again.
Yeah. But mate, overall, like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun flick.
What did you think of Ray Winston's Russian accent? Because I don't think he could hold back his Cockney accent if he tried.
Yeah, there was definitely some slips. To be honest, I think in that film, no one was really Russian.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was all fake accents.
We're all putting it on, yeah.
Yeah. I did enjoy the story where he's like, I went fishing with my dad and he went toilet on my hands. It's just like, I really laughed at that.
Oh, dude, yeah. Man, I know I mentioned it, but I hope we get some more, like, I hope that the studio executives can look at this and go, okay, we can have films that aren't all about men, basically. I don't want to make it an issue-driven.
I'm all down for it.
Podcast chat, but
I think, like you said, I didn't notice at any one point that this is a female superhero film. I didn't think that at any point, and I think that's what they need to bring home with those sorts of things.
Yeah,
it's like with Captain Marvel, I've heard very much like, she is a woman, look at her rise, sort of thing. Yeah, and that's fine. That's a good message for girls and stuff all over the world. But sometimes it's nice to be like, this is just a superhero film, and they happen to be women, and that's fine. We don't have to bring up all the big deals. She's not developing.
She's just competent. She just is who she is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. That was good.
Mate, next step. Female James Bond. Female 007. Oh, man, you can imagine some people's heads would just explode.
We've got a female Doctor Who.
Yeah,
It's happening.
They're
First
taking
Doctor
over.
Who, then Bond.
Oh, man, I don't know about you. I feel very intimately, personally threatened by all this. I'm not sure I like it.
Oh, massively, mate.
This is definitely targeted at me to make me feel worse.
Tweet a racial slur to make myself feel better.
Yeah, man, that'd do it, wouldn't it? Oh, Christ.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, no, that's just not true. Yeah, fine.
Mate, I've got to tell you about this PC build I did. We've got to move away from Marvel.
Do. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's okay, everyone. If you were outside waiting while we finish talking about Marvel stuff, then you can come back in now.
Yeah, I won't spend too long on this, but I just want to tell you about the pain points. Because have you built a PC in the past?
No, dude, I haven't. I've never built one from scratch. No,
right. No. It's the sort of thing that for building a PC for people that don't build a PC, don't know how. It's one of those things which sounds quite technical. It's like build a PC. Like how on earth would you start? But it's kind of like Lego. You can't. Okay. Everything goes in a certain place. You can't really get it wrong. So it's not as hard as it seems. There are some like if you were like putting it on a scale, you'd put it on intermediate. Yeah, it's not easy, but it's not tricky. You know, if you spend enough time with it, you figure it out. And the amount of guides online is ridiculous.
Well, dude, all I know about building PCs is that the hardest part is first getting cast in The Witcher and then getting super buff, taking your shirt off and making a captivating video while you do it.
And mate, you have to be buff.
Yeah. So how did you manage that?
Well, what I did, there's this great CG program which a body replacer. No, so like building a PC can be quite. And if you're building in a standard PC case, which is quite big, you've got lots of space to do it, and it's not too tricky. So I was building in what's called a mini ITX case, which are tiny, like absolutely tiny cases, and everything you buy for it is extra small. Small motherboard, small everything, small power supply, small graphics card usually, and all that sort of stuff. And I built a PC in my time, built a couple of PCs, I know how to do it and all that sort of thing. Right. It was possibly the hardest thing I've done in
oh, jeez, really?
My technical grasp of building PCs and knowing my way around it was pushed to the absolute limit. I was like having to Google things relatively consistency, and you knowing what to do, but like how on earth do you do it? And like, problem is with most PC builds, you don't have to really follow a strict set of rules. You can kind of build it. There's a few things you need to do at the start, but you can build it how you want. But ITX is very like, do this, then do that, otherwise it won't fit. And
yeah, sure.
All that sort of stuff. Anyway, long story aside, I had to get my brother to help me like literally just hold things together and like, can you plug that in while I hold this in place? Sort of, things like that. And in fairness, he's built a few PCs. He knows what he's doing. So it's really useful. But, build the PC, fine, done. Thank God, sort of thing. Took a long time, but got it all together. Managed to close up the sides. That's a big victory.
Yeah, and then it all goes in.
So you install Windows 10 off a USB stick at the moment, USB. So you just boot from USB. Relatively easy thing to do. I've done a lot of that in the past with Mac updates and stuff. And the PC just wouldn't. It would get to the Windows screen and it would just crash. I'm like, wow, no.
Oh God, yeah.
Basically, to cut a really long story short, I had to flash the motherboard BIOS, which is potentially the most technical thing I've really ever had to do, because there's no specific guide online, because basically the BIOS is what you go into if you want to like overclock your this or change your computer so it does that or whatever.
So when you talk about flashing it, so what are you doing?
Yeah, so dude, imagine the BIOS. Imagine, when you see like people hacking into the system and it's all text, that's the BIOS. That is what you see, and it kind of pops up like that. But so basically I had to update the BIOS by flashing it, which basically means on the back of the motherboard there's a little memory stick slot that says BIOS flash. You have to get another memory stick. Thank God my old PC was still together. I had to download a BIOS flash from MSI, put that onto my memory stick, format the memory stick in a really specific, weird way. So not just like a normal USB. I had to rename loads of files, put the BIOS on there, put it into the computer. But the problem is because the computer's got no connection to anything, you put it in and you have to hold a button. And that sort of shit feels like, what am I doing?
I'm going into the Matrix.
Yeah, definitely. So I left it going. It's like BIOS update, take about 20 minutes. I was like, oh my God, let's just hope it works. Went downstairs, came back up, and it's like, BIOS updated. It's like, oh my God, it's worked. And then I was finally able to install Windows 10. But I forgot to tell you as well, when I was building it, I was using a water cooler, which they're relatively easy to put on. It's like a fan that uses water. But it has to attach to your motherboard, like really specifically. So you get a back plate for your motherboard to basically, I'm doing some very poor podcasting here, but if the motherboard's in the middle, your back plate holds it on. So it's like a sandwich, and your motherboard's in the middle. And the back plate that came with my cooler didn't fit my motherboard. And the cooler back plate you get with the motherboard doesn't fit all coolers. And there's nothing online to suggest that would happen. Right. So I just didn't use one. So I just bolted it on a bit willy-nilly. It's working. It seems to be working fine. It's cooling and it's working. But that wasn't a nice thing to do. And that's the sort of thing that would stunt a lot of people. And actually, I've made a video about it. In the video, I've actually cut this out because I didn't want it to be a somber end to the video. I just said, this will be the last PC I ever build, because it's not, I like it. I love the payoff. But I was like, the more I use my PC, the more I'm using it for video editing, the less I'm using it for gaming. And like the ending scene was me going, at the end of the day, I think I just want a computer that works. And I think that computer has been staring me in the face for the longest time. And I just hold up my Mac. Yeah. Because it's true. Like, the amount, you can't customize it. You can't do anything with it, but it fucking works out the box and it works well. Yeah. And you don't need to touch it and it looks good. Because half the reason I did it was for it to look like really nice. You can't really see it too well there. But it's like, it does look very pretty, man. That coral sort of top on it is very nice. It's a super nice look, and like, bless IQNX who sent it out to me, because I just reached out to him. I was like, that's a nice case. Can I have one? And they're like, and they just said and then they also bundled in a mechanical keyboard in the same matching colour, which is super nice of them. Yeah, that's very cool. But they'll get a sick video out of it. A sick video, man. But, yeah, mate. So put it in perspective. I started building that PC at 9:30 in the morning. I finished building that PC, like up and running, Windows installed, at 11:10 p.m. Oh, so, God. It was a long day. There was a lot of like, why am I doing this? There was a lot of stress and not. I was just like, why? In terms of cost, I mean, are we talking that that's going to cost more or less or about the same? The problem is it's hard to compare PC and Mac now, because now Mac's going over to M1 and like all their ARM chips. You can't really compare them because the M1 stuff is so far ahead in terms of what it's trying to do. Yeah. You can't. But, if you're going on old school stuff, so say Intel Macs from a couple of years ago, that upgrade cost me about 900 quid. And to get that style of thing in a Mac would cost you like $3,000. So it's loads cheaper. But again, you've got to build it yourself. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to know how to work through the issues. There's no warranty or anything or any customer support. It's all from different companies. You've got to know what you're doing to a point. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't take too long to figure how to. If you can Google Linus Tech Tips PC build, you can build a PC pretty much. A bit of confidence and all that sort of stuff. But mate, it's a Ryzen. It's like an 8-core processor, Ryzen with 32 gigabytes RAM, all M2 SSDs. So it starts up and boots like in a fucking flash. It's amazing. And Premiere Pro, which I use for video editing, absolutely crushes it, which is great. Okay. And that's what I wanted it for. And it's a nice upgrade. So I said at the end, I was like, this ain't going to change for years now. I'm not going to touch it. I hope you like this PC, because it's going to be a long time before a new one. Well, mate, I just can't, realistically, I think this will be the end of building a PC. In 4 or 5 years' time, when it's maybe getting a bit long in the tooth, it'd be like, let's get a nice Mac desktop and be done with it. Sure. And it's sad in a way, because I like building. I like when the experience is good. Building a PC is like a lot of fun, and you feel like, as lame as it sounds, it feels like you kind of your knowledge levels up massively. It's like, wow, I get it now. Like when you land a new trick on something, or you like, I know how to do that now. I don't need to look it up. So that's a nice feeling. But otherwise, it was like I said, it was hell on earth, I would say, for that day. Oh, Jesus. It's like there's sometimes in life where you want things to be easy. Yeah. And sometimes where you think, I can take a bit of challenge here. Yeah. It's when they come at the wrong times. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? When you want something to be easy and it turns out to be an absolute ball ache. That's never fun. horrible. And like I had video editing jobs to do, which I can do on my Mac, my MacBook Pro, but it's not as nice as a desktop PC to sit down and get your work done. So I was kind of like, I need this tomorrow. So I want it to be done today.
Oh, dude, that's no fun, man. That's no fun.
It's all good.
So not something you would recommend.
Not unless you're like really into it. Or if you're building a regular PC in like a standard case, it's easy. It's a lot easier. Yeah.
I mean, do you have anything that you would recommend
for a PC?
Well, no, just in general in life. Any other Tom's Regs?
I've got one little thing I recommend. I've spoken to some people about this already. That's a great transition.
That's the smoothest segue you're ever going to hear on this podcast, right?
It's a podcast recommendation of all things, to plug another podcast. I don't know how I found it. I think I was on Spotify just browsing for you or whatever. And it was just a podcast called How Did This Get Played? It's a podcast about video games that are really bad and they play the game for a week. They all have to complete it or they all have to get as far as they can. And then they talk about how on earth did this get made? How did it get through any quality like control and why? And they basically just rip on it. Like a couple of them are comedians, so they like constantly taking the piss, like piss out of each other, piss out of the game. But they do the occasional odd good game. So I think they call it like 70 Minutes of Heaven, where they'll play like a decent game. Like they played Super Mario 64 and they just talk about how it's so iconic and stuff. Yeah. But the one that was worth listening to, which actually two that was worth listening to, I really enjoyed. Super Mario Bros. 2, where you throw the turnips instead of jumping on people. Yeah. And Cyberpunk 2077. Oof. Because Cyberpunk's really good because they're like, what promise, such an incredible promised game. What a big failure. Dude, but Mario Bros. 2, they're just like, how can they take away jumping on people? That is the bread and butter of what made Mario. And they decide to fuck it off. Like, why?
Oh, man.
I don't want to talk about it too long. It's funny if you've got a space and you like video games and you've got a space in your podcast. How did this get played? Find a game which is crap. Yeah. And listen to comedians take the piss out of it and have a good time.
Mate, that's a pretty solid recommendation, it sounds like. I'll check that out. That sounds really cool.
It's funny.
Nothing worse than shitting on someone else's creative endeavours.
Yeah, it kind of is like that. I mean, some of them really deserve it. Some of the games they play are utter garbage.
Oh, man.
But it's funny. It's good.
Oh,
it's a good
I'll get onto it. There was one last thing that I wanted to mention just before we wrap up and sign off, which is that this, unless I've really cocked this up, because I can't see the list in front of me while we're recording, this is episode 49 of this podcast.
Yeah. Oh.
Which means that next episode is episode 50 of ITSBUP.
Bloody heck.
You have got to wonder why do 50 episodes of something like this, but we have been picking up listeners, it's into I say it's well into triple digits of listens, we're picking up a few hundred listens, which is considering that it's just me and you arsing around, I'll take that. That's pretty decent. So I don't know exactly how we should celebrate episode 50, but I was gonna just invite people, if you are listening to this and you have something interesting that you would like us to talk about on episode 50, then let us know. Go to ITSBUP, ITSBUP.com, and you can find a way through there to send us a message or find us online. I mean, Tom, where can people find you if they want to send you
what a transition.
A message? I'm pro now, mate. It's only taken 49 episodes.
It's at Bite Review everywhere for me. But Ben, where can they find you?
Just look for Benji Wanlung and I'll pop up on something, whatever it is you're using. You'll find
whatever it is.
But let us know what you think. If there's anything that's been really nagging away at the back of your mind, like why haven't they ever talked about this interesting thing? Then now is the time. Now is the time to. We're not often going to take recommendations or requests. All right.
Yeah.
But for episode 50, I'm making a special exception. So make the most
Anything
of it.
Goes. Why are you still making the podcast?
That would be a good. Mate, we could spend 90 minutes just talking about why the hell are we making this podcast?
Yeah. Who's it for? No one.
I will. I guess we'll see you next time for episode 50.
We'll see you then for the episode 50 extravaganza.
Yeah, I'll get my my carnival outfit ready. I'll get it ironed.
Ironed.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.